David, you guys ran the calculations. How much jet fuel is going to be really impacted by this?
Hi, Alix. Yeah, at a time when it's pretty bad already for the aviation market, we think there's about 450 flights daily that will be disrupted by this. That's about 180,000 barrels per day of jet demand.
David, how much jet fuel will be impacted?
Sure. So the impact of the ban on European to New York flights essentially will be about 180,000 barrels per day. It's about 450 flights every day.
What have we learned in terms of what China has done and what kind of recovery they're in versus what we may then be able to expect from, say, European and U.S. demand?
Sure. Well, in China, we've seen a very slow recovery, and it's come in the form of domestic flights by domestic aircraft and aviation. So while China is about 6 or 7 weeks ahead of us in the curve of the coronavirus impact, Europe and the US are really at the start of it. So we could see prolonged disruption for at least 6 to 7 weeks still. And we haven't seen a bounce back like we have seen in previous events like SARS. It's been a very slow recovery and a plateau at the bottom, essentially, in China.
So from the demand sense then in Europe, it's going to be really rough. But later on, isn't this better because they have lower fuel prices and that's going to wind up being good for them longer term to help their margins, for example?
In terms of the aviation market, it could be if they haven't already locked in their price through hedges, essentially. And that is the real risk. If you've got low jet prices, that's great if you have air mile demand. The problem at the moment is there's no air mile demand. So essentially you can operate ghost flights to maintain your operating slot. Or if that's been removed, like it has been in the EU, you do not operate that flight. But you still have that jet hedge in place, so you need to unwind it. So it's quite risky for the aviation market as it stands.